Okay, there we go. There we go. Um, so today I have the pleasure to talking to Anna, a good friend of Liquid, and Liquid's at the what do you can Liquid is acting as the Jamie today, and yeah, how you doing today, Anna?
I'm doing swell. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know you already said this. We've had a whole conversation prior to pressing record. I am glad you are able to hang out with me today. Shoot, I don't even know what to talk about other than we both hopped out the hyperdrive. How was your day? I don't. Yeah, yeah. I gotta smooth this into the situation now.
Okay. Well, my day was fine, I guess. Running around back and forth to the grocery store and to the nail store. Um, I have a friend coming over tomorrow who's supposed to make me and a couple of other friends crab fries. So just like fries with like crab and lobster and shrimp and like gooey cheese and stuff. So I had to get a bunch of ingredients today for that.
Yeah,
And then
that
I had to
sounds
get
really
some.
good.
I've seen pictures and I'm super excited for this. So um, I hope it comes out well. My friend's a chef, so hopefully it works. I've eaten his food before, so I know he won't let me down. I'm just kind of waiting in anticipation of like how delicious this is gonna be. So had
I
to get
want I
stuff for
want
that.
pics.
I
I
will
want
definitely
pics of
send you
crab fries.
pictures. I will definitely send you pictures. I hype this guy up a lot, so I know I'm gonna take all the snaps and all the pics, and it's gonna go on Instagram and all the good stuff, so I can hype him up some like even more.
Is he a chef out of? Well, of course he's probably out of Dallas.
Yes, he's worked at a couple places. I don't know exactly where he's worked actually. I know like some places that he's worked. He's also worked with me. That's how I know him. Um, but I know like he went to school and stuff and he's like stamped an official and he's been doing it for like ton of years. So he's pretty top notch.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. So what do you do for a living?
I bartend for a living currently.
You're a bartender. Oh, see, for the longest, I thought you was a waitress, or well, probably both. But that makes
I've
this
done it
even
before.
better.
I've done it before. I have done everything in the front of the house. I've never done anything in the back of the house.
As in, what does that mean? I'm kind of like stuck on that
Oh,
because
sorry.
this is
Okay,
all new to
so
me.
back of the house is like the cooks, dishwasher, I guess. I don't really know what else, I guess. Chefs, yeah, all, like pastry people. Never done any of that. But I've hosted, well, front of the house, so
That
I've
makes sense.
hosted and tables before, and I've waited tables, and I've bartended. So kind of like all the stops in in the presentation for the front of the restaurant, I guess you would say. That's what I've done.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Like now I'm on the same page. I understand exactly what you're talking about. As far as me, I've never bartended. I worked at Brahms and I was a delivery boy for Pizza Hut. No, for Domino's. And so I know delivery and I know pain in the ass customers. So we could relate on that kind of scale.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Because when you met me, I was a pain in the ass customer.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, I mean, you weren't a pain in the ass customer. I think it was like after when we butted heads quite a bit. I think we have the same energy, and I think that's why we butted heads. But now we're cool, so it's fine.
That yes, it is cool. And pretty much that's why Liquid and Green were calling us fire Pokemon. Because we were
I
very
forgot about that.
argumentative that night. I remember
Oh, I
that.
love to argue. I love to argue.
I do too. I do too. It's fun. I should have been in debates. I should have been in debates. But actually, like the whole reason we were going back and forth, and it was a misunderstanding, and literally that's what I wanted to talk to you about that. I want to clear the air on that, gain some redemption and atonement.
All right. What was the misunderstanding again? It was so long ago that I honestly don't remember what the um the argument was about.
That's one of my gifts and curses. I remember everything. Like
Oh
my
man.
brain cells are just dying because I remember everything. I'm probably gonna die at an early age because of it. But the it was of course there was like a whiskey too many in at that point, and I was just
Yes.
really blatant about how I felt about shit. And it started with a conversation about me saying, um, "I'll never return to this place. Why should I tip more than 15%?"
Oh.
And
Oh.
and I know you want to like pull out the guns on me automatically, but hear me out, where I was coming from that jump. Um, in my mind, and especially at that point when I was drinking, I had a couple too many. Of course, we already went over that part. I it was just it definitely the thought was, hey, these people don't know me. I don't know them. 15. I'm not being an asshole. 15% is what's asked. There's nothing wrong with me just tipping 15%. The problem was I voiced it.
Well, I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I'm gonna speak for a good amount of people that 15% is no longer like the asked. It's now 18 because the economy. But I mean, like 18 to 20 is kind of like the general rule of where you would tip. Um, of course, like you don't have to, you can definitely tip 15. Like, I mean, if you just have like a beer and a burger, like no one's gonna fight you over, $5, But on the same hand, like say you order like a bunch of shots and you're riling up the crowd and you're being drunk and obnoxious and you only tip 15% with the same attitude, like, I'm not going to come back, then that's when people get like upset.
I feel that. Actually,
So,
that
yeah.
18%, because I've been noticing that like everywhere you go now, that is the required. It's I don't know if that's like a slid in COVID charge. I heard someone say that there's also a COVID charge that people are adding on to it. But everywhere you go, 18% is now the bare minimum.
Yeah, so I like to say that that's the rule of thumb, like 18 to 20, but it's for how long I've been doing it, that's pretty much how it's been. Like, so I've been in the industry for almost 11 years, and since I've started it's always been like 18 to 20%. So that the COVID thing, I know that some people are adding in the COVID, like, I don't know, like the extra gratuity, I guess. But I want to say that's to make up for the cost that was lost when we were shut down. I know with my
Mm,
place, we're not doing that, but we did also increase our food and beverage prices to help fix that. So, like, that's not going to us, that's going to the business. So, I don't know how it is with that percentage for the whole COVID thing because we're not doing it. Some other people are.
I haven't came across it personally, but I've been hearing from my amigos about it, and it's it's just it's one of those situations where the mind of a person they'll hear that and it might instantly go to like, oh well, if you're gonna charge me for this, well, I'm gonna go ahead and deduct that from my tip. That's how some people's mind could be when it comes to thinking about that. And
I think that's kind of like a crappy way to think about it because unless that extra percent is going to the server or the bartender or the busser or the back of the house, like that percentage is going back into the business. So that server is basically getting shafted two separate ways.
Mm.
So I don't know, like I said, I don't know about how that percentage is supposed to be, but if that's the case where they're throwing on that extra percentage to kind of make up for the costs that they've been closed and they're not giving that back to the server, you coming in with that, not you, you general, you coming in with that mentality is basically like we're, like since we're not open to 100% right now, we're also only working for like 50% of our capacity.
I
So
get
if
it.
someone comes, if someone comes in, they're just like, since this extra percentage is on there, I'm just going to take that off of the tip. We're also getting shafted for that percentage that we're not getting, and then the capacity that we're also not being able to serve to. And then we also are in the middle of a pandemic, so we could possibly get sick and have to stay home. And then, like, I think it's just like a
It makes
compilation of a
sense.
lot of things.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I and you know what? It makes me feel like an asshole. But I like don't get me wrong. I tend to tip like not just like to bullshit around or pussyfoot or whatever. I typically do tip a lot most of the time when I go to a place. Um, it's there are
Just not
levels
my
to the
bar.
shit.
Just not my bar then.
That you know what? After this, I
Or
gotta
you know
come
what?
back to your
It was
bar.
probably me though. I will say it was probably me because I'm sometimes I can be not a nice lady. And I'm sure if you were giving me attitude, I was probably giving you attitude too. I'm sure I was drinking. I don't know. I mean, I can't say that. Nope, I was not drinking because I was working. Um,
Ha!
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it was just me. Maybe you're just like, oh, fuck this place, fuck this bitch, I'm out of here. And that's pretty much how it went.
No, we homies now. Now I gotta come
Oh
roll
yeah,
back through. I gotta
right.
come roll back through.
You don't have to tip me this time.
All right, I'm gonna get you to sign a waiver that says that so you don't feel bad when if I don't, but I'm gonna still tip anyway. But actually, furthermore with that, one of the other controversial topics for people is I ordered to go, so I don't feel like I should tip because I ordered to go. What is your thought process on that? What's your perspective on that? How do you feel about people that do that?
Ordering to go and not tipping.
Yeah.
I think you should tip still, because I spoke to someone who works at Domino's, and basically they get like their hourly, like their whatever the state minimum is. But then the
Hmm.
moment that they go to actually deliver the pizza, their income drops to $3. So that tip is actually supposed to help them when they're making these deliveries. So by you not tipping, you know, they're getting shafted as well. Um,
Actually,
but
for
I
insight
guess
on
it
that
depends
one.
on where you're getting delivery from though. Because if you're using like the big corporations, like, like Uber Eats or something like that,
Hmm.
the restaurant itself is getting shafted, and also the delivery person is getting shafted. So and that's like a whole nother, thing.
Yeah, that is a whole nother. You're right on that one. Like I wish there was a way to figure that out in general. I know I can speak on Domino's. Back when I was there, they hadn't moved to the when you're it's called drive time or something like that, and they
Okay.
hadn't moved to that. It was you're still getting paid the minimum wage, and you got your tips. It was Papa John's that was doing drive time. Whenever you was on the road, they cut your pay in half, and it turned into, hey, you're gonna get a tip when you go out there. So that's where your money comes in. Um,
You are
Domino's
correct.
was
He
real
did
big on
work at
that.
Papa John's. Yeah, thinking about it now, he was at Papa John's. He wasn't at Domino's. Yeah, he was at Papa John's.
And it's shitty jobs. Like it's crazy. I understand it. I understand it. I had my favorite one was I had a delivery to a church. It was about $200. I had to come in more than once with like big boxes of like just stacked. Got all that. They signed their little receipt or whatever that says, "Hey, we're a church and we're gonna pay this later" or something. And they didn't tip. They didn't tip. They did not tip. And
Mm.
oh, were you trying to say all this shit is supposed to happen to me?
No, no, not at all, not at all. I'm saying like I would not expect a church to tip.
I don't know. I thought they would consider it like, here's paying it forward. You're a little kid up there working hard. Now we're gonna show you that we care about our own. No, but besides all
That's
that,
that's a that is oh you think okay. I'm trying to put the words together to not sound like a jerk. Not to you, of course, but
no,
like
do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
churches aren't taxed and they're getting money from their patrons, like they're not going to tip you. They're doing, you know what? They're doing the Lord's work by allowing you to come into their church with these pizzas. That's what they're doing. They're blessing you with this fucking hand. That's what they're doing.
You right. Mind my
Be blessed you had
selfishness.
a job at the time.
Mind my selfishness. Forgive me. But back to the ordering to go and yeah, just ordering to go and either not tipping, or for me, if you're not gonna tip, not necessarily tip. How do you feel about a 10%? Like you're not doing the full percentage because you're not there being served. I do understand the concept of they're serving your bags, they're putting your food together, but they
Mhm.
aren't there serving
They're
you.
not giving you they're not giving you for full service. And that is a rule of thumb. Like if you're getting anything to go or anything delivered, 10% is where it's at because there is someone getting that. Um Personally for me, if I get something to go that's like super quick, like I'm just running in and out, then I will tip like 10%. But if it's a delivery, then I tip more because I live on the fourth floor in my apartment and
Mm.
they have to come up this elevator and like two different hallways and like it's a beating to get to my apartment. So I tip them more if they're gonna deliver it. But if I'm just like running in and out for something, then like yeah, you're getting a quick like, $5, $6 or whatever, and then like I'm out.
We're on the same mindset as that then. I just know people who if they're tipping to go, I mean not tipping to go. If they're ordering to go, your tip is like out the fucking window. I I know for me personally, because I went to IHOP the other day and I sat in my little corner by myself because nobody's going to IHOP anymore. And my bill came around. It was about I think it was about 13. No, it's about $16. And the tip, even if you were doing 20%, you're only reaching about was like $4. And I basically just went ahead to well, whatever. I think it's more 25%. I'm not doing math. I am not doing math. Point being, I rounded it out to where it was $20, and you know, it's $20. It's like, yeah, have at it. So I don't personally think I have a problem with tipping. I have a problem with being drunk and tipping.
Who I will say that I'm on this not same page, but like drinking and tipping for me is a hassle because I will always throw away my money. Like I've done it before where I'm just like, yeah, I'm fucked up, like it's time to go. And just because I usually try to just go to places that like I know the bartender, because they're like a friend of mine or something, and I will over tip them and basically like go home broke. So
Mm.
same energy, just not the same outcome.
I know I've had because my bar, Liquid loves to say it's not a bar. I go to Jake's. It's not a bar. It's a burger joint, but that's
The
where I
burger
go.
place. Yeah,
Yeah, the
it's
burger
a
place.
bar. Well, it's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant that has a bar. Liquid will say it's not a bar. Fuck him. But but oh, what was I saying before I went on a tangent? Anyway, point being is, yeah, me going there. I remember there were many a times went in, had a high ass ticket, overtip, and why did I overtip? It was because mainly because you're drunk, but secondly because it's just like fuck it, man. I had a good time. The conversation was good. That's the other thing. If you had a good time, yeah, go ahead. Especially if your bartender's she's interacting with you or they're interacting with you and they're really having a good time. Yeah, you feel it. You feel it, and you want to give more. But if you start realizing that it's kind of systematic, because there are times you'll realize that they're doing it because of a tip. You know what I mean? It's like you can understand the bartenders that are just doing it because they know, hey, I'm trying to do this to get a tip from you. Like it's not genuine. You know what I mean? You see it when it's early on bartender. Say for instance their first day or something. You can feel they haven't got a good flow of it. It doesn't feel like they're genuine about it.
Okay, yes. I can agree with you to a certain extent. So for me, when it comes to like how I bartend, I I treat you like you're going to be like I treat you like you're a customer.
Hmm.
Not to say that I'm not friendly or that I'm not going to treat you like you're my friend, but I always say like at the end of the day, like you are my customer, like I'm not your friend. So I try to keep a clear line of where I stand with the people that I do serve, unless I like you enough, then you can become my friend. And that's kind of like a not a hard line to cross, but like a thick line to cross, I guess, to be my friend. Because you like to work in the bar that I am currently in, the atmosphere is very lax and you can like swear and you like drink and everyone's pretty friendly with each other already. So lines can get blurred very quickly. And I'm one of the few that is very like, if I'm not your friend, I'm not your friend. We can be friendly, but that's kind of it. But I do understand what you're saying, like, hey, you're a new customer. Let me be like overly friendly to you so that you can, give me a bigger tip kind of thing. But if that works for you, then why not? Like you're just gonna go back, right? If the person's extra friendly, you're just gonna go back and then you get taken care of, you get free drinks. I don't know. Like I think it works out and it becomes a symbiotic relationship at the end of it, right?
It does.
Maybe they're fake at first, but by your fifth time in, you guys are pretty much kicking it. You're getting like a free shot here and there, like getting some extra fries. I don't know. Like maybe it becomes easier.
For me, it was actually the bartenders I had experience with. They were really good about it. The When I was introduced to going to the bar in really gullible state and not understanding it from the jump, they were really good about it. They have already been bartending for many years, so it felt authentic. It felt authentic. I didn't recognize it until I got mature, drink more, and then watch them interact with others. And then it had me questioning. It started going, wait, 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 wait. I'm just a number here. Because like you said, I feel like there is a barcode. There's a code for the bartenders. You keep that line. You don't go past it, regardless. I've watched many people have that. I've seen guys come in, hit on bartenders, and they think they're getting it. They think they're there, and it's just really because, hey man, trying to get that tip, and I want you to come back, and I want to keep you at that spice. I want you to enjoy me so you can come back, but I want you to also know this line so that way you're still coming back. And that's I don't know, that kind of feels like that's kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing in a way. Make you want them in a way so that you can come back, but you also have that
Right.
firm line. It's kind of I don't want to say it's kind of like dating an escort because that's just wrong, but but yeah, it's just like there's that line. You gotta keep that firm line, but you also gotta you kind of make them want you. I actually, it's a great example. There was a bartender. She got a boob job, and she was just like, "I'm getting a boob job," and she was just like, she was exciting everyone about it. And when she got the boob job, she was going, "Hey, look at him," and just showing them like it was nothing. And all the guys were hyped about it, and they were coming in to see her boob job. They understood the firm line, but it's just yeah.
I can say that I've definitely played that card before. Like, I don't have a boob job, but they're there, you know? And I've definitely worn like low cut t-shirts and like super cute shit to get the extra dollars. But for me at the end of the day, I'm just like awkward and weird. So like me trying to be like cute and fun behind the bar just made me annoyed. So I just ended up just wearing t-shirts like normal. So like the attention was kind of weird for me because it wasn't like, oh, you're fun, like let's talk to you. It's like, oh my God, those things. And then it just became more annoying than
Yeah.
anything, you know? So yeah, now I just use my personality.
Yep. What they tell you, be yourself.
Yeah. I mean, also this is like my younger years when I first started working and I was like, oh, okay, like I was much thinner, like I didn't have bags under my eyes and I was vibrant. Now I feel like I'm 40 and I'm just like, all right, I guess we can fucking do this. Like the way that I speak to people now is completely different from when I was younger, trying to serve tables and bartend. So
What made you get
yeah,
into bartending? What brought you to bartending?
honestly, this is um Sponge SpongeBob, actually. I have
Please tell.
I have a crazy obsession with this TV show. And the first episode is when SpongeBob gets um hired at at the Krusty Krab and he's super excited and he's chopping up these burgers and whatever and he just is like a fucking badass, you know? And I was like, ooh, this seems cool. This is what I want to do. And my first job was in this airport and I was like a cashier and it was nothing like the fucking show. And then for some reason, like I got my first like paycheck and I was like, ooh, this is cute. Like I like this kind of money. And then someone was like, oh yeah, you should like try to be like a host or whatever now. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I ended up doing that, but then I got fired from that job. I'm not going to say why. And then I ended up being like a host slash expo at like this kind of like upper scale like mom and pop restaurant.
Hmm.
And then I think I served tables one day and I was like, holy shit, like this is not like this money is good and this is what I need to do. So like I kind of fast tracked to doing that and like learned all the menus and whatever I need to do. And it was honestly after everything, it was the money. Like I've never worked at like a fast food place or like worked for like minimum wage or whatever. Like of course when I first started, yeah, but I was only at the place for like maybe a couple months. But after that, it was just like the cash that I was like the cash in hand feeling and then being able to make like a certain amount of money a day for just walking around and fucking smiling. Like I was like, okay, I'm here, like I'm with it. And then I'm fairly driven. So from there I was like, what's the highest level I can go into doing this? And so there I ended up bartending, then I ended up managing a restaurant, then managing a bar, and that shit was stressful. And I was like, I don't like it. I just want to bartend. And then so I went back just into solely bartending, and that's kind of where I am now.
Dope. That sounds dope as fuck. Wait. The thing that I was thinking about though is like the money though, because when you're a waiter or a waitress, you're getting paid. What is that? Because I know they cut the minimum wage in half. What is it? What is it? How
We
does
only
that?
get so we only get $2.13 an hour, which we basically don't see because like it's like
That bothers me so
that's
much.
our minimum, but because we make more than the minimum, you don't see your paycheck essentially, if that makes sense.
Wait, explain it again for me so I can just try to understand.
Okay, so we get paid 213. That 213
Hmm.
is basically just to cover like our labor and like what is guaranteed that we have to make, like that is our minimum. But because normally servers and bartenders they make more than 213 depending on a day, um we don't really get like a physical paycheck because we're getting paid like by tips.
Mm.
And so depending on the company you work for, you either get cash at hand at the end of the day or you just get a, you know, like an actual paycheck with your tips on it, but not your hourly, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay.
Uh, that sucks. But that fucking sucks. No, no. But obviously, you being hyped about the cash in hand, you have to be making a good amount to be able to be inspired to keep doing it. You know? What?
Yeah, like so for a brief moment, I actually was like, you know what? I don't like the hours that I'm working because since I've worked in bars for a really long time, like normally you're not getting off of work until like 3 in the morning, you don't get home till 4. Like, I was like, I'm tired of these hours. Like I'm tired of sleeping till 3 to try to go to work and then having to be awake until 4 in the morning. So I try to get out of it and you know, apply for like just regular basic like entry level like office positions or something like that. And like walking into the places, I was like, this is not like this atmosphere doesn't seem fun. And I think that's what kind of drew me back into staying staying in the industry because although it is like hard work, not really physically, but like mentally,
Hmm.
um, it's like I've always worked in like a fun environment and I never wanted to like leave that. I was tired for a bit, but then I was like, I don't think I can do anything else. Especially to work in a place where you're pretty secluded and you're not making as much with
And they're
people that
sucking
you
your
can
soul
surround
out
yourself with.
24 fucking 7.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That makes me, if that's how you feel about that, because in Europe, they're they basically focus in on paying their waiters and waitresses
A livable wage.
basically yeah, like a livable wage. They pay them a
Right.
livable wage. And I know in France, it's looked down upon to get a tip. They oh shit,
Yeah.
France don't agree with a lot of our customs. They are a lot chiller than us in certain ways. But I know
Hmm.
especially when it comes to tipping, um, yeah, they look down on you for tipping. Would you prefer to have a livable wage, or would you like to keep it this way?
I think I'm very 50-50 with it. Because if it was more consistent, then I definitely would like it where it's like I don't have to worry about anything. Like if I can just go to work, do my job, I don't have to worry if I need to make like an extra $50 for something. Like if it was like that, where I go to work, I come home, go to work and come home, then yeah, I would definitely be fine with it. But I know that for us, like there's some days where we don't make shit, which is crappy. But then there's some days that we walk out of there with like our rent in one day, you know, and
Give me
then
give
you
me
have
an
the next.
example of your like a what's one of your memorable high points?
Um, I guess there's like maybe like two or three, I want to say. My first one was when I was leaving El Paso. I was leaving El Paso, and it was kind of like my going away shift.
Mm-hmm.
And one table tipped me like $100, and then it kind of just went down the line from there, where like everyone was pretty much over tipping me to like kind of go to like move here to Dallas. So that was a really like I made like $400 that day, and I only worked for like maybe for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess the second time I was working at this hotel bar. Well, it's a hotel, but like there's a bar in it or whatever, and it has a pool and all this shit. And I was waiting on this one table, and this guy just kept on buying like bottles and rounds and stuff like that. And his tab ended up being like $1,000.
Shit.
And like 20% of that, or I think 20% of it is 500. Don't quote me, but he tipped 500. So I got to walk with that off this one table.
That's
So I would say,
um. Wait, can you hear me?
oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, okay. I didn't know what happened. I heard like a vehicle, but I was stopping because my math cringe came in for a second. I almost had to pause. I was like, wait, 20%, 1,000. That's not 500. That's fifty
Is it
percent.
not
That's no 50% of 1,000 is 500.
50? Oh, okay. Well then my math is wrong, but I still got $500.
That's right. As long as that math matters.
Yeah,
But
so those
that's
are the two times that I can think of like that I was like, okay, this is tight. Like this is why I'm here kind of thing.
so in that case, you wouldn't want it to go to a livable wage or a standard payment of, I don't know, maybe if they made it around the board where it was $15 an hour as the base and bare minimum that they actually gave waiters and waitresses, that it just wouldn't cut it because some days can be extreme and you would then just be stuck with the same norm. I don't know,
Yeah.
you lose the fun out of it, if you ask me. The fun kind of gets sucked out of it.
I can yeah, I can agree with you. And I think that's why I'm like 50-50 on it.
That's I, I really don't have any quarrels with it. Like I would like for waiters and waitresses to get paid more. It would be cool for that to be a thing. But when you hear the actual stories from it, you understand why it is the way it is, and then it just turns into, hey, tip your fucking waiter, tip your fucking waitresses.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there was a comedian, what's his name? Is it C.K. Lewis or all I know it's the way it's the comedian that basically he got in trouble for asking women if he could like basically jack off in front of them. Whatever his name is, C.K. Lewis, I think.
Oh
The point
God.
is
Yeah. Wait,
the
wait, what?
yeah
Yeah.
he got in trouble for that shit. He asked the woman. He said, "Hey, is it okay if I do this deed in front of you?" And the woman said yes, and he did it. And then afterwards, she was like, "Oh my god, I was so terrified." Oh. And but she said she gave him permission, but he got in trouble for that. And he got in trouble with some other shit. He's a wild ass guy, but he's funny as fuck. Um, I don't condone any of his behavior, but he had a comment or a joke he made in one of his stand-ups, and basically what it got to was, who the fuck are you to determine what someone, how can you be so judgmental? Who the fuck are you? Just tip your people well and go about your day. Shut the fuck up. If they didn't bring you enough water, you don't need to sit there and I don't know. The point he was making is this: he was just basically saying, stop being so judgmental and shit, and just tip them well. They're there. I wish I could pull up the bit for you so you could actually hear it. As soon as Liquid leaves, it would be better if we could just pause. You could hear it, and then you would understand it. Because the way he tells the joke, it's hilarious because it plays into this whole sequence where he's saying you tip them well, and then they can go feed their parents or pay for somebody's cancer, and then
Yeah.
you could be tipping them well, and you could be funding a serial killer or some shit. Either way, you tip well, but I'm butchering this joke. The point is, yeah, I I definitely am brought into more light on it. Yeah, I encourage anybody to fucking tip, tip your waiters and waitresses, not because we're in COVID, because they're awesome people.
There's a lot of underlining things that people don't know like happens behind the scenes, and it's kind of stressful sometimes. So yeah, tip your people because that's how they live.
What goes on behind the scenes though?
Well, like I mean, like pe- in general, people are selfish, and you get a lot of customers that they go there because they want to have a good experience, because they're thinking about their time and what they want when they get there. And not to say that they shouldn't have a bad experience. I'm saying like when you go out to eat, you're just like, yeah, this is about to be a fun time. I got me, my crew, like, my family, whatever, like we're about to have dinner. But
Hmm.
you're thinking about you and your people and not the fact that, like a waiter, for example, or waitress, that they're not just serving you, like they're serving, you know, 5 to 10 other tables. They're trying to, split checks, get waters, you know, get extra drinks, make drinks, run food, bus tables, help other people out, like getting yelled at by the chef, like getting yelled at by the manager. They can't pee. They haven't eaten all day. Like they're getting yelled at by a customer because there's no lemon in their iced tea or the Diet Coke is flat or, like just like things that like that's what I mean, like behind the scenes. You go in there for a nice time, you can have a very good time, but sometimes people get overwhelmed, and most times they're not just doing one singular thing to serve you. They're working on 10 different things at one time, and it's just like have a little patience.
Not to mention, on top of all that, they're still attempting to smile in your face and not punch your fucking face in.
Yes, there has been some times
Tell me
where
your worst night. Tell me your worst night. I'm pretty sure you remember it.
the worst, well, I guess there's 2 times. There's always, I don't know why there's only two for me, but so when I first started working, and then the second time is when I was working at this bar. So the first time, I was like freshly like maybe 17 or something, and I barely started serving tables, and this lady calls in a to-go order, and it's like a super huge order, and I forget to ring it up. Like I forget to ring in the whole order. So
Oh
now
God.
so now the actually no, this happened twice. Okay, let me tell you the one that I think is way crispier. So there's a there is a 25 tops, it is 25 people. And this lady sits down first and she's like, I just want a salad, no protein, like this is all I want. And so I was like, okay, cool. I thought I rung it up. I did not. All the rest of her people show up and she's like, I have to go. Like, where's my salad? And I'm like, it's on the way. It's on the way. Like, thinking I rang up the salad, and they're just falling behind because they have a table of 25 people with like kids and, whatever. No, I didn't ring up the salad. So then this lady, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't ring up your salad. Like, I'm going to ring it up right now. Just know that it's going to take a couple minutes. Like, I'm finally getting going. And she was like, you've been lying to me the whole time. And she fucking blew up on me. And I
Mm.
was just like, I'm so sorry. This is my first time. And it was just like super overwhelming. And I had other tables to take care of as well. And yeah, so she flipped out on me and she was like, I don't want my fucking salad. I'm bouncing. And I was like, oh my God. So then, of course, my manager is like, what the fuck, Anna? Like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't notice. Like, and I was trying to get all this stuff done and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just really overwhelmed. And my manager didn't yell at me. She was just like, it's okay. You can breathe. And then I started fucking crying in the middle of the dining room. and like shoulder shrugging, crying, like heavy, like I fucked up, I'm gonna get fired. Um and so that was my first time that I had like a really bad customer. Like I guess it wasn't even her fault. It was my fault because I fucked up, but I was just really overwhelmed and I cried and everyone made fun of me for like the rest of the time that I worked there.
Oh
So that was
damn.
pretty shitty. I know. And so the second time, it's kind of, I guess it's a little touchy, but I was working at this dive bar and I was the only person of color that worked there. And
Mm.
this is right around the time that Donald Trump was being elected president. And so and the people that I worked for, they are very political and they had like C-SPAN on the TV shows and they would have like watch parties of like the debate and things like that. So it was a very like political driven bar. And I work there and this guy comes in and I introduce myself and I'm like, yeah, I'm the assistant GM here, whatever, like blah, blah, blah. And he made a comment and was like, oh, you're like so like well spoken. And that kind of set me off. And I was just like, okay, I'm not like my, I was polite about it. I was just like, thank you. Why wouldn't I be? And then kind of
Mm.
stepped away. And then, like that got me heated for the rest of the night. And my GM who was there saw how upset I was and basically like just kind of sent me home. Um, and that was like I guess just one of the few remarks that people have made. But he ended up getting kicked out of the bar because he tried to start a fight with somebody else and he got his ass beat. So inadvertently, I got to see him get mopped, but it wasn't by me.
I'm
So I
glad the
guess like
universe did its job.
yeah, basically, no one likes microaggressions, and the Lord was on my side.
Well, that like like that basically turns to another question. For right now, we're in this period in, well, America, that basically everyone's screaming black own this, black own that, black own
hmm
everything. Have you considered, I don't know, because I don't know where a black bar is. Actually, I do know where a black bar is, and I have a lot of, that's a whole nother conversation. But have you considered either joining a black owned thing, or I don't know, because I have my own personal things that's making me just unravel my whole question, because it's like it's going all over the place. But yeah, how are you in when it comes to that? Are you feeling like you should be going to something that's black owned, or do you think we should keep it a
Um,
melting pot the way it is?
well, for me, I am mixed. So like I'm Afro Latina, so I kind of try to balance myself between the two worlds.
Hmm.
Um, but I I am very like I do have a lot of like black pride. And a lot of the products that I use like for my hair or my skin, they're made by black people, but
Hmm.
it had nothing to do with like the current movement that's happening. It's literally just because like I'm mixed, they know what they're doing
Yeah,
and why not?
that's what's
So
up.
and like but I'm very like I use like organic and natural products. So like that to me is also a plus that I can find that within the black community. But I've been doing that for like a while. Like it's not anything new to me. Um as of right now, I guess I'm more a little outspoken about it because it is a conversation that needs to be had and it's a conversation that is starting to spark for a lot of people. And I'm definitely okay with people, jumping on the bandwagon and supporting businesses that are black. And I think that's a really great thing because I'm in a couple groups like on Facebook where it's like, black restaurants or black businesses and I read one article that a guy, he was like struggling he had a bookstore, and
Hmm.
he was like struggling to sell books. And now that he's in this Facebook group, pretty much his books are flying off the shelf because
That's
of this,
awesome.
like, right, because of this like larger movement now. And I think it's great. I'm not saying that we should not support other businesses that are not colored, but yeah, why not support the homies, you know? Like
Yeah.
what is it hurting anybody else?
If anything, it's building so we can have more options to do more and come
Of
together
course.
together. Please share that page with me. I don't know if you've been well, Facebook's algorithms and bullshit, but I'm really trying to get more information on black owned this, black owned that. I came across
Oh
a
yeah, I'm
site.
in a couple of them, and I'll send them to you.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Matter of fact, posted in the Zuzu Rodeo thing. It's this thing called the feed. We'll talk. Um,
For sure.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, I because my goal is to basically I want to keep having this conversation so we can acknowledge the things that I feel are, I don't know, a concern or a conflict on why we don't come together and actually help each other. I think there are things that we need to make it more efficient. Don't get me wrong, a Facebook group is great, but think of what you could do with an app. And I understand there are apps out there, but I have this idea and I really want to put it all together. And I want to keep saying and stressing this part. um, it's important to have a source for just black owned people, as in a black grocery store. I'm hearing all these things about black restaurants, black artists, black all these other things that are black, but nothing that's more of a source, if you get what I mean. And I really want to
Yeah.
I really would like to have a black grocery store so people could go in and out, and not go in and out, but yeah, it'd be great to have that. It'd be great to have that.
I think that's a good idea too. I don't think that there's anything wrong with building um another source so that we have these options. Because I mean, even just even just going into like a normal, like, Target or Walmart or Kroger or whatever, and to even get like just hair products that are ethnic is kind of stressful because, like, they're either they're it's very limited. So you have to really kind of wiggle your way and find a place to actually get something, instead of me just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna run to Target and pick up some stuff. Like, no, I have to like go to this one specific beauty supply store, 30 minutes away, because they have this one product that works for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah. So
A parallel
I
for
definitely
me,
agree with
is going to a community that's not necessarily heavily populated with your color. I could have just said a white community, and you go into the store and you find this small little area on this aisle that says ethnic, and they crowd every race in this one little area,
you. Right.
and
I think
it's
I think oh, go ahead.
no, you caught me. Go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, if I'm kind of extending I'm extending on your um I lost my train of thought. I'm extending on your I'm extending on your sentence, because you are correct. Like, yeah, like I think, although there are not there isn't like a large black community for like grocery stores and stuff, I feel like that's the same struggle all people of color have, because you are put in this one aisle with like Hispanic food, Black food, Asian food, and then like they're also not being equally represented as well. Does,
Yeah, yeah. And that's the other conversation that starts so many other conversations, and we have to figure out how to find the right balance between it, because the last thing you want to do with any of this is start a desired segregation.
Right.
And it that's one of the things that not necessarily, well, yeah, bothers me, because mindsets get formed around, hey, we need to stay black and keep it black, but we forget that we are all in this together. And you got to keep that in mind. I don't know exactly how you actually, the thought experiment I was going along with it, you make the option available, so when things occur, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all of that, you can now make your protest more efficient by having the protest, but also attacking the money. If you have that situation go down, if all these options are provided, where you have an app and you know where you can go to support just your race, you can instantly switch it. You can just instantly go to that, and then everybody will feel it on more levels than they would feel with just the protest. And that's how I'm looking at it. It gives you a new option. It helps you get your message across even further.
I definitely agree with you to a certain degree, because I don't want the other people of color to get lost in the transcript of only like I want to agree with you, but I also don't want to segregate the other people of color, because they have all experienced pretty much, we all have same experiences, we're just different shades. And I think what I do like about like the Black Lives Matter movement currently is that it's an umbrella, and every
Hmm.
other race that's not represented, every under gender that's not represented is under that umbrella, and that as a whole is basically speaking for a lot of inequalities for everyone that has been like just like racially profiled, like just a lot of, like for a lot of things. So I do want to have like black owned things, but I also want to have like a lot of Asian owned things and like Latino owned things. Like I want them to be equally represented so that they're so it's more accessible. So I'm not like it's I would like those stores to be on the corner as well. If I just want to pop in and get some rice or pop in and get some beans, like I won't feel the need to like have to go to one or the other. Like I can just go. It
I,
wouldn't be like a second thought to me. I feel
that
like
would
me
be
using rice and beans was like a very inappropriate way to
the yeah.
use.
We
I want to take
Your
that
heart was
back.
there. Your heart was there.
I
that's the
feel so fucking stupid for using that analogy now. Um, can I use a different one?
I mean, you can use a
No,
different one, but the thing is, like, that's a whole other thing. No one's gonna cancel you for saying what you were saying to make a valid point. And I would like that too. I would love to be able to not have to think about it. You know, I would love to be able to not have to think about it. I know the 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 thing we all struggle about is finding the balance between it, to where it doesn't feel like we're just supporting one race, because we're in a melting pot. This thing is, we're in this shit together. And
correct.
I because I get the idea of, you build these things up so your community can have it. For me, for instance, Oakcliff is pretty much, actually, Oakcliff is a melting pot nowadays. There's a mix between Hispanic, Hispanic, Black, there's probably like a small number of Asians, but not like enough. I think there's like only one Asian lady, and I only see her one time moving back and forth on like Polk Street. But besides all that, it's you make a very valid point, and you got to figure out how do you do that? Because then if you start going, Black Lives Matter is taking care of all of these other minority branches, then it kind of sounds like you need to change the title of that shit and not to necessarily go to All Lives Matter and just fuel the Karens.
Right.
But and you don't call it minorities matter because you get it. It's it's just it's just one of those things where it minority matters. M&Ms. There you go. Right there. There you go. Movement. No, but yeah, I don't. It's that back and forth. Some people argue that you're just calling it a name. You're having these names so you can make people pin against each other. But yeah, we're in this shit together, and I'm fucking now just getting to that wall where I just go back and forth, and the only thing I can think to do is to just try to build so we can connect these people more. That's where you start. You start with connecting them, because who say you can't have a um you can't build black and also Latino and all that stuff up together and just fuse together. It's there, you know it's there now, and just fuse it together.
Yeah, I think I don't understand why there is a conversation. I think my biggest um I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like if I just tell someone like, hey, this is not that cool and it's kind of offensive, the other person should just be like, my bad, let me educate myself. Instead of it being a conversation like, well, you're just being soft, or, you know, I'm profiled too because I look a certain way, but they really don't. And, like they try to compare with you when there's really no comparison. You get me?
I do get you. I do get you.
Yeah.
It's it's different. It's a whole nother story. It's the feeling you don't get when you go into the store and someone's watching you thinking you're about to steal something.
Right. And I don't think that a lot, like the people who are fighting against this, like they will never understand that feeling or that fear of having just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go buy a fucking candy bar, and you can't even, walk around the store with someone like looking over your shoulder. And like they won't, like the people who are arguing this will never know that feeling. And it just kind of baffles me that you have to you have to explain this to them, and then when you do try to explain it to them, your whole conversation is diminished because they don't understand and they don't want to understand. And that is like the biggest thing that gets me upset, I guess, when it comes to, like this conversation.
What would you do? What would you do?
um you mean like having a conversation with someone?
More along the lines, if you could figure out how to fix this, if you were to make this world as pure and perfect as it could possibly be, or to correct the shit that's going on, what plan would you set in motion?
um I honestly, I really don't know. Like I would try to make sure that different cultures are represented equally, so that no one's fighting to be heard, because that's basically where we are. Like I would try to implement things, I guess, so that everyone everyone is being heard. Um I guess, like, are you talking about like a reality, or like, I guess, like perfect life in my dreams kind of thing, like.
How about both? No, um, well, honestly, when I hear that, because the first thing I run to is equally subjective. How do you decide what's equal? do you literally throw it to a through a numbers funnel, or you just kind of want to focus on justice when you hear it? You want to make sure everyone's represented correctly. Hello, hello.
Okay. Can were you
Can you
still
hear me?
talking? I mean, now.
No, it literally, I think we just cut out. Like that was not cool.
Like it would say you sounded very alien-like, and then I was like, can you repeat the question? And then it was like silence.
So, welcome to the horrible world of doing this shit not in the same room. And I swear, I'm on a shriek. Every cast, there is a moment where we literally just doop, and then I gotta say, hey, you there? You there? It's bootleg. Maybe somebody will hear this and they'll be like, you know what? We see that they're struggling, so we're gonna pay for them some better shits.
Okay, so I guess repeat your question.
I don't even remember my question now. I think I was
Sorry.
piggybacking on basically equally basically crap. Now I gotta let me put it together. Where was I? Breathe. Gather your thoughts. You are you are thinking. You are thinking. You were saying equally. You want to make sure everyone's represented equally, and
Oh,
then I
yes.
asked
How would
equally.
I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Is equal subjective? How do you how do you make
Ooh.
sure people are represented equally? Do you toss all that through a numbers funnel and just throw it into you just say, okay, you let it, yeah. Or is it
Every
just
every
more?
race gets a every way race gets a month. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Well, how many races
I
are there? Let's
don't.
see.
I know, right? There's like I think I don't know how many countries there are. I want to say there's like over 700 or 7,000 or something.
I
Don't quote
don't
me.
know.
I feel like I'm gonna be so stupid on this thing, you know?
There was a game called Plague Inc. Everyone started hearing about it because of COVID. But they let you know how many countries there is. I'll find it out if Liquid was still here. But but I yeah, that even that wouldn't satisfy anyone. Because what do? You can't just give people a freaking You can't give people a month.
Well,
It's
okay.
more than
Well,
that.
the try. I guess like that was a terrible joke. But yeah, like
It's
I
a good
guess
joke.
I don't know. I guess like how would you then? Like I guess I'm asking myself this now because like I have these ideas. I guess they're not really ideas in my head, but like I have these like thoughts. Like in a perfect world, if we were equally represented, then we wouldn't be fighting for equality. Yeah, like you're saying, it's subjective. So like what is equal? But I guess we won't know until everyone feels satisfied.
Mm, there you go.
And now I'm starting to double think like that comment now because I guess I don't know, like I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this.
What you got to remember is this shit is complicated, and the thing is communication, talking about it to figure it out together, because
Oh, of course.
that's all this is. That's all this is. Like, and I feel like it's okay to be wrong, because throughout this whole time of, hey, let me design this thing to represent black, there's that other thought. Hey, you're forgetting about the supposed big picture. I do understand there is that desire to build things up black, because there's a feeling like we don't have anything. And that's why, I guess that's why there's such a emphasis on it, and why everyone's pushing for this. They don't feel like there is anything. And I get it. I get it, because I look around and I think about Oakcliff, where I'm from. a lot of places there aren't owned by any black people. You get those racial profile moments because you're in a store that's owned by an Asian person and you're walking through there, and I mean there are kids that steal, so it's gonna build up this rapport for, all right, I'm gonna watch you. You get it, but you wish it didn't. You wish that wasn't a thing. And one way that you could help with that would be to build that community up from within. It would be nice to have out. Well, shit, I don't. And then you start touching that real weird area where you start going. It would be nice to have outsiders in here, but
You can't say that.
but I'm pretty sure you get me. It's a weird gray area of trying to find the balance between satisfaction amongst this side, and that side. And the problem is everybody wants their side to be right, but it's a spectrum. And I keep preaching that to everybody I fucking talk to. It's a spectrum, and we have to figure this shit out.
I
It's
mean,
complicated.
do you think that things are going to change? Do you think that in the next, fucking 60 years, our children are going to be asking these same questions that we're asking?
I would hope not,
I
but
guess
then
your children, because I don't want children, but your children.
that's a whole nother subject. My subject on children is, if I'm rich, I'm probably gonna have 8. But
Oh my
and
God, why 8? You're not pushing those
uh,
things out.
I'm just gonna have cool baby mamas. But anyway, but um, all jokes aside, I didn't mean that joke. Um, but um, what was that? What was I going for? I just ruined the tangent that I was on. Help
Sorry,
me.
I fucked it up. I was okay.
Hmm.
Well, kind of, I guess, piggybacking off my question. I
And come back to
asked,
the mic.
what?
Come back to the mic. You're really distant at the moment.
Oh, well, I am I fine here? I guess.
Okay, maybe it's because you sound like you're going alien mode, but keep going. Maybe it'll work itself out.
Okay, so I asked the question because I was having a conversation with someone, and I was basically like defending myself and defending other people, and my one of my like small statements was basically like, if my grandmother and my mother and I can compare stories, then where is the change? So do you think that 60 years from now, like, our children won't have to be a part of a fucking movement? Like, they can just live, Like, what's your take on it?
My personal take is we keep trying. The reality of it, just the thought experiment of it, is you can't you can't get inside these heads, the heads of everyone, and stop the ideas that form, because there are social things that happen. I mean, we can get better. It appears like we're getting better, but then you hear the revamping of people getting hanged, and that's a whole nother thing in itself. But you hear these stories of these things occurring again, and I don't know. I don't know. I hope all we can do is push the fucking foot forward the best way we can. But as I sit here and just look at the history and that famous, I hope that's pretty much all I can do is would hope that for everyone else.
I think you're making points right now, but like literally, all I hear is "I hope," and then it cuts out, and then it goes "cause I hope," and then you cut
Oh
out
shit.
again.
Damn. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. I think I can fix this. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So on that note, unfortunately, we're gonna get ready to close. And that sounds horrible. I really got to figure out a better way of closing these things. Like I hate closing them and have to go like, so it's time to say goodbye.
You could just do the out of the box song.
What's the out of the box song?
What? You've never seen it from Disney?
Nah, you gotta
Oh,
sing
it's
it
like
for me.
so long. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now until we meet again. That's like the that's
And on that
basically
note, that's how we ending it.
all right.